Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, back with some more Ultra League content for you guys. In today's video, we are going to be discussing more about my Ultra League team, the Double Water team, and the strategies behind it. And more specifically, a strategy that I'm not sure that I've heard very many people talk about, but it is one that I did want to bring to people's attention as it has worked pretty well for me. I don't really have a good name for it, but basically in winning matchups, in winning lead matchups, I play it as I normally would. I just attempt to win the lead and keep switch advantage. But in losing matchups, basically most every losing matchup that Gyarados has except Melmetal, my goal is to lose the matchup, use no shields, hopefully get a shield, and then how I win the match is I farm down their starting Pokemon with Lapras. The goal being Lapras with its insane bulkiness can tank a lot of charge moves, and Lapras with energy is one of the deadliest Pokemon in the game. And here's a good example from PvP. Lapras by itself in the Ultra League in one shield scenarios has 260 wins, 99 losses, and 3 draws. So it does pretty well, but it still has quite a significant amount of losses. Whereas a Lapras with half health, a 1 shield advantage, so 2 shields to 1, and let's just say 80 or 9, let's just say 90 energy for the sake of it, after you farm something down, actually goes to 318 wins. So they pick up an extra 58 wins, even at half health, with a large energy lead and shield advantage. So as you can see, this strategy does end up producing some really powerful dividends. And in this video itself, I actually do go 9-1 with this team employing the strategy in certain lead situations. So without further ado, I'll hop into the video and let me know what you guys think of the strategy.
And we're hopping into game number 1 of the set. This one is going to be against Muchikoro, so fun name there. And we catch in a Scavalier lead. This is a nice and positive lead for Gyarados because we are going to be able to hit them for neutral with Aqua Tail. We're building up quite a bit of extra energy just so they wouldn't be able to catch the charge move. We're going to go for the Aqua Tail. They do shield it, so we do get a shield right away, and we're going to let this go because even if it's a Mega Horn, that's not very effective. They counter with the Gyarados, and we will counter with our Lapras. And that way, because our Lapras really does not want to see the Escavalier, that way we are able to burn the Lapras, and we can no-shield that. Lapras is incredibly tanky, and we're going to go for the Ice Beam, and this will do some nice neutral damage, although we do get the second shield, so now we are up 2 shields here. They're going for a charge move on the Gyarados, and I know they're baiting, so I let that go, and I'm able to get to the Ice Beam. I knew being up 2 shields, they would feel the need to bait, so I successfully called their bait, and I'm able to win switch advantage with a 2 shield advantage, and I do go into the Giratina, and my opponent does resign the game. So our call with not shielding the Aqua Tail ended up giving us a 2 shield advantage that our opponent was unwilling to come back from and conceded the match. Alright, so we're hopping into game number 2 against David Penaloza, and we get an Obstagoon lead. Obstagoon is a problem spot for this team, I'll be honest. Although if they're going to have one, you probably do want to see it up front because Gyarados has the best matchup against it. We're going to go for the Aqua Tail, and they are building up a ton of energy before throwing. And we're going to let this go and just hope that it's just a nice slash, which it is. And we can survive the second one. And then we'll be able to get off an Aqua Tail, and they'll have a choice to make. More often than not, they will shield the second Aqua Tail. Going for the second Aqua Tail here, and this should be getting that first shield, and then they're just going to be able to counter down, unfortunately. So they are able to counter down, so they have a ton of energy, and here's where Lapras comes in clutch. Because we're going to be able to farm them down, and we can just absorb these charge moves. In this situation, it is Night Slash, but even if it is Cross Chop, Lapras can still absorb those back-to-back charge moves, and not have to burn a shield. So now we have an energy advantage and a shield advantage with Lapras, which will come in handy. They bring in a Giratina. So this is, wow. This is some spice, I'll admit. I hadn't seen a Giratina. So I throw a move, I switch into Giratina, and they switch into Togekiss, and unfortunately, it's just rock, paper, scissors from here on out, where this Togekiss is going to absolutely obliterate my Giratina, even though I am able to land some neutral Shadow Sneaks. And from there, yeah, I do go for a bait here, and they call my bait, so phenomenal job by my opponent. And they're going to be able to get off a charge move, the Ancient Power. And even though I'm able to take them out, I'm on such low health that Giratina is just going to be able to Confusion down from here. So unfortunately, we do drop game 2. The Giratina was unfortunately a bit too much for us to handle, sadly. Yep, and going for the second charge move here, and it's just, I mean, it's just not going to be enough. Yeah. Can't quite get there. Yeah, one fast move away, sadly. So a good game to our opponent. Next one is against Trev786. Gyarados into an Articuno, and this is the perfect example as to why Lapras is my favorite Pokemon in Ultra League. We intentionally lose this matchup. We go for the bait because they're right at an Icy Wind, so they often shield that and then throw right away. We let this go. And then we're going to build up here, and then we're going to go for a Crunch, and we'll land the Unshielded Crunch, and this should put the Articuno in perfect farming range for Lapras. So we are able to get it just below half. Unfortunately, they farm down. Usually, you do want them to throw, because unfortunately there is less health on the Articuno at this point. They do go for the Icy Wind, and here this is probably going to be a Hurricane. It is the Hurricane, but look at Lapras, able to tank the Hurricane and able to farm down. So that's the beauty of Lapras. They can just tank those charge moves. They come in with a Lapras of their own. I go for a Surf, even though it is debuffed due to the Icy Wind, and I do a quick swap into Giratina, and they swap into their own Giratina. So honestly, they probably should have stayed in with the Lapras there, if I'm being 100% honest, because this gives me play. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to win this, but that decision of them switching in down energy and down a shield gives me options here. I'm going to go for the Dragon Claw, and they're going to not shield that. And I have burned one shield, and I'm trying to build up a ton of extra energy. And I'm going to shield this and basically farm down at this point, so I have a lot of energy to throw on their Lapras. So we're going for the first Dragon Claw. That does some nice chunk damage. We're going for the next Dragon Claw here. And again, our goal is just to provide some chip damage there. And we switch out into the Lapras, trying to catch a charge move. Unfortunately, we weren't able to. But we're still going to be able to get that Surf off, and we do get the shield, and we're going for another Surf. So at this point, they have a ton of energy banked on Lapras. I'm hoping they don't have Skull Bash. That would not be good at all. So they're going for a charge move, and it's just a Surf. So they have Surf Ice Beam as well. They're going for another charge move here. And this Surf will not be able to take us out. Lapras, again, is incredibly tanky. And I'll be able to get to a Surf of my own here. And this won't be killing them, but it'll get them close. And then I tried to swap in a Giratina. Unfortunately, we did CMP tie there, so I can't escape. But I am able to go into Giratina, and I'm able to Shadow Claw down as the timer expires. So good game to my opponent. That was an incredibly close game. We won by a razor-thin margin. Next game against SE15555, a Togekiss lead. Like Articuno, this is an example of when I lose the lead, but I end up being able to use Lapras to my advantage. Here I actually make a mistake. I build up 2 before throwing. You definitely want to throw the Aqua Tail right away, because he's able to shield once and then win CMP, and he has too much health now. So that was a mistake. I have misplayed that here, but I'll be able to come in with Lapras and just farm up a ton of energy. They actually switch out into Mewtwo, interestingly enough. So we actually got them to give up switch advantage because they were so worried about Lapras getting all that energy. So this helps because now we can align Pokemon how we want to align them, and by using our Giratina here, now our Giratina won't have to face that Togekiss. We are able to do super effective to the Mewtwo there. We're able to hit the Mewtwo again with some super effective damage, and they throw a charge move, and we're going to let this go because we don't want the Togekiss to be able to farm us, and that does take us out, but the Lapras is able to Ice Shard down, and they have a Giratina in back, and from here, Lapras can sweep, go for the Ice Beam, it connects, comes in with the Togekiss. We're going to shield up the charge move, and we can just honestly just farm down at this point. He gets the boost, so we're like, oh no, it's over. And here I realize I have to bait because you can't get to 2 ice beams. I need to bait here, so I go for the surf. We get the shield, we go for the ice beam, and the ice beam is going to be enough. I never bait in the LAPRAS versus Giratina matchup, with the exception of if that's my only win condition, then I will bait. Besides that, I go strictly ice beam. So we are able to take an improbable win. Next up, against our opponents against Yossi, and we get a Giratina lead. And I do like Giratina leads because with our Dragon Breath, we are doing super effective damage, and Crunch also hits for super effective as well. And this is the Shadow Claw variant. We're able to get to our Crunch, and if they don't shield this, this is going to be doing quite a significant amount of damage. And it does connect, which is fantastic. And I'm going to let this go because I can survive this charge move. And the nice thing is I have a really good PvP IV Gyarados, so I am actually able to win the 1 shield. Sorry, the 0 shield there, my apologies. The 0 shield. Melmetal comes in, I'm able to land my Aqua Tail to get some chip damage, and now I have Melmetal lined up with Giratina. So this is perfect because, as mentioned in yesterday's video, Giratina is my only steel counter, and it's basically a soft steel counter at that. So the fact I was able to get that chip damage can ensure that I can win this matchup against Melmetal pretty comfortably. And I'm not going to shield until they shield because I don't want to put Lapras at a disadvantage for the end game. Building up a bunch of extra energy, and I'm going for the Dragon Claw here, hoping that it will be enough to take it out or get a shield. And it does get a shield, which is fantastic. And they throw, and I'm actually going to let this go because I can survive this Rock Slide, and now I know that a Dragon Claw will take them out. Since they are low enough. And they double shield. I'm not sure what they're doing here. And at this point, I let it go because I know that I can Ice Shard down, and Lapras plus 2 shields will be able to beat anything. And they bring in a Swampert, and they resign the game. So good game to my opponent there. We are able to take that game. So unfortunately, we did lose 1, but we do go 4-1. So a very, very promising start. And after we catch this Scyther, we are able to do a quick catch. And as you can see, we're up to 2460. So moving onwards and upwards, which is fantastic. And we're hopping into the first game of the second set against Danny, 1986-19. And here we do catch an Empoleon lead. Empoleon is a lead that I like to see with this team. Here's how I like to play it. At first, I go straight for the Crunch. I've noticed that Empoleons don't tend to shield the first charge move from Gyarados, so I can safely land a Crunch. And when they counter with a charge move, I let this go because I can survive any charge move they throw. Here it's just a Drill Peck. And on the second charge move, I'm going to build up to a Crunch, but bait with Aqua Tail. The reason being, Crunch would kill them, so they're more likely to shield since they do want to try and win switch. They do shield up the Aqua Tail, and I'm going to shield their charge move, and now I'll be able to outpace them and get to the Aqua Tail. And they have the choice of going down and losing their second shield, or giving me switch advantage, and they decide to give me switch. They come in with Giratina, and they are able to farm down, but I am able to get some Dragon Breath damage in. And now Lapras comes in, and Lapras is in a phenomenal position. It can soak all of these charge moves from Giratina, and we'll be able to hit for super effective with Fast Move and Ice Beam. I built up a little extra there just in case they were going to try and switch on the charge move, and the Ice Beam connects, does huge damage, and we're able to farm them down. Now we're in a really good spot. Togekiss comes in. I'm going to go for a Surf bait just to try and get the shield. Do get the shield, and I'm going to try and get to another Surf here. Come on, unfortunately I can't get to it, but the good news is those Ice Shards did enough damage where I should just be able to go straight Shadow Sneak, and my Giratina will be able to take out this Togekiss. We're able to go for the Shadow Sneak. This should take it into the red. It does. And now I'm actually going to try and farm it down, and we are able to do so. So I can now say I have farmed down a Togekiss with a Giratina. Not something I never thought I'd be able to say, but here we are. All right. Hopping into game number 2 here, and here we catch a Cresselia lead, and this can be good or bad depending on if the Cresselia has Grass Knot. If they have Moonblast, I much prefer that matchup, as they get to Moonblast in more turns than Grass Knot. So we're going to counter with a Crunch, which will be doing super effective damage if unshielded. Yep, that connects for huge damage there. We're building up a ton of energy, and we are going to shield this up, and we're going to try and build up all the way to the one before their next charge move, and then throw an Aqua Tail bait. Building up a bunch, we get to 2 Aqua Tails, and we're going for the first Aqua Tail, hoping we can draw a shield. We do get the shield, which is great. Charge move coming through, and we're actually going to shield this because we should just be able to Dragon Breath down. Oh, unfortunately, it looks like that move did trigger, but we will be able to take switch advantage, which is huge. And they have an Obstagoon in back, but we're able to get to an Aqua Tail, which is huge because this will be providing some nice chip damage onto that Obstagoon, which is fantastic. And the Obstagoon's at half health. It's loaded on energy, but we're bringing in Lapras to just soak all that energy. And it looks like that they don't have Cross Chop, which is fantastic for us because those Night Slashes are only hit for neutral. Although they do have quite a few of those Night Slashes ready. And we're going for a Surf, and they actually let it go, and they have a Swampert in back. So, oh boy, I am grateful they let that go because that would not have gone well for me. Going for a Surf, we are able to do some nice damage here. And they're going to throw right before we get to our second Surf, which is a wise play. This will be the Earthquake to take us out. We come back in with Giratina, and all we have to do is just get to 2 Dragon Claws, and we are going to be able to take the match. This will be an Earthquake coming in from Swampert, but we'll be able to get to 2 Dragon Claws before they can get to another Earthquake. First one will get the shield here, and the second one will be taking out the Swampert. So good game to my opponent, and we are able to take the next game of the set. And we're hopping into the next game here, and we do catch a Giratina lead. As I mentioned, I love Giratina leads. I'm able to do super effective damage with Dragon Breath and Crunch, and since Giratina is rarely shield, I'm able to pretty successfully land those crunches without much fear. So they go for the neutral Dragon Claw, and I'm going for my Crunch. This is going to be doing some super effective damage, and unsurprisingly, they don't shield, doing a ton of damage with Dragon Breath. They do get to a charge move, but I'm going to let this go. I'm pretty confident I can survive it. I can, and I'm able to Dragon Breath down, and so I do win switch, and I'm almost to an Aqua Tail, and they come in with an Escavalier, and I'm just able to get to an Aqua Tail, which will do some fantastic chip damage onto that Escavalier, which is great. And they're able to counter down. I come in with my Giratina, and Giratina has a commanding matchup against Escavalier. I can safely no-shield this as they go for a Drill Run, and they're going to quick swap into Swampert, and we counter swap into our Lapras. And in even shield scenarios, this is a very good matchup for Lapras. I'm going to let this go. Even though it's an Earthquake, we can survive it. We're going to counter with our Surf, and this should be getting that Swampert down towards half health. Yep, it's getting there. Building up some extra, going for another Surf. And this is where I'm expecting those shields to start to come out here. Oh, and I do get a spam call there. Sorry about that. And they no-shield, so I decide to no-shield. They go for the Earthquake, and I realize that I should just be able to Shadow Claw down, which I am. The Escavalier comes back out, and they resign the match because I will be able to win that from there. And next up, we are playing against Racco in Germany, who I'm guessing is in Germany, and we get a Poliwrath lead. And this is a positive lead for us, mainly off the fact that Dragon Breath is hitting for neutral, whereas his Mud Shots are hitting for very, very resistant. And we can just go straight Aqua Tail and win this matchup. They swap into Snorlax, and we counter swap into Lapras, mainly because our Lapras does not want to see that Poliwrath. And it looks like they are able to get to the charge move before us. And this is just a Body Slam, so Lapras can take that. We go for the hard-hitting charge move in Ice Beam, really hoping this can connect. And it does, which is fantastic news. They're going for another Body Slam, which again, we can absorb. We'll be building up quite a bit of energy here. And just going for a Surf. They do get to the charge move for us, but again, we can safely no-shield the Body Slam and then go for the Surf. And if they choose not to shield, then this is going to be a very close match. And it looks like we are able to Ice Shard down, which is fantastic. They bring out a Melmetal, and they are able to Thunder Shock us down, but from here it's pretty straightforward, because we have the Melmetal lined up with our Giratina, and the Poliwrath lined up with our Gyarados. Building up a ton of energy. They throw on the Melmetal, so I'm just trying not to get my charge move caught. Unfortunately, they are able to switch into Poliwrath here and burn my shield, and it was a CMP, so that was really well done by my opponent. Here I'm like, oh no, this is not looking good. There's a really nice play there. They go for an Ice Punch on the Gyarados, which is fine. And at this point I realize I'm gonna need to farm down here. So So I'm going to let this go, and I'm just going to try and Dragon Breath down and do a ton of damage onto this Melmetal. As you can see, I am going to need to burn the shield just so I don't die. But now I have a ton of loaded energy on Gyarados. They bring in Melmetal. I'm able to go for Aqua Tail number 1. Does get the shield. Able to go for Aqua Tail number 2. Gets the shield, and I quick swap into my Giratina to soak the charge move. Rock Slide does connect. Now I need to get to Shadow Sneak. I am able to get to the Shadow Sneak, which is huge. Shadow Sneak connects. That should put it in Aqua Tail range, and they throw, which is huge. Oh my goodness, they weren't sure how much energy I had. I'm able to come in with the Gyarados, and we get to the Aqua Tail. This is going to be enough to take out the Melmetal, and we're able to take out the Poliwrath too. So an incredible game to take the win there. I was not expecting that to go in my favor, but hey, we'll take it. And next game, we are going up against a Swampert lead, and as with most leagues, Swampert versus Gyarados is going to favor the Gyarados. So I'm building up a ton of energy, just hoping that they can't catch my charge move. I am able to get off the Aqua Tail, which is huge, because I can safely no-shield those Hydro Cannons. They do shield up the Aqua Tail. It's interesting, and I can safely no-shield the Hydro Cannon again. And they quick swap into a Muck. I'm going to counter swap into my Lapras. And this isn't a great matchup, but since I do have a shield advantage, I should be able to take it. We're able to block the Sludge Wave, and the good news is this Muck is not up against my Giratina, because that would not go well for me at all. I do go for the heavy-hitting Ice Beam, and that does connect, which is absolutely huge. And from here, even if it's a Sludge Wave, I can survive it, which is great. And then I'll be able to build up some extra energy. And unfortunately, I was trying to count and I miscounted there, so I am going to need to shield. And yeah, unfortunately, we CMP-tied there, so the move goes off, but I don't hit the bubble, so I can at least get a little bit of extra farm. They bring back in the Swampert, and I am able to get to a Surf. So this should be getting the last shield or doing a ton of damage, which it does, which is awesome. They're building up extra energy on the Swampert, which is not ideal. It connects with the Hydro Cannon. I come in with the Gyarados, and we're able to farm down, which is huge, and they have a Charizard in back. So from here, we should have this. I'll be able to use the Aqua Tail to get the shield, quick swap into my Giratina, and Giratina does beat Charizard in all even shield scenarios. Well, at the moment, once it gets Dragon Breath, and that'll be a whole different story, but for the time being, it does. So they're able to they go for a Blast Burn, which is not what you want to do. You want to be going Dragon Claw there. We do lose CMP, but we can survive whatever he throws. That's the Dragon Claw, and we're going to be able to counter with a Dragon Claw of our own. Here, looks like a little bit of lag on our end, unfortunately. Come on. And that connects, and we are just able to take them out. So there we have it, a 9-1 run using the double water strategy in the Open Ultra League. I'm really loving this team so far. If you guys do want to try it out, definitely let me know if the team does work for you, if you have any questions about strategy. Yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. If you're new and haven't considered subscribing, I'd ask you to please consider subscribing. It's free and it helps out the channel. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.